This is a call to action video. You need to contact your Congress critter right now. Send an email tomorrow morning. Be prepared to make some phone calls and ask your elected officials why they support ATF going door to door to people's private residences and to dealers to confiscate private property. I think we may be surprised at some of the answers that we get, especially from some of those A+ NRA rated politicians. The ones who constantly grift on our community. The ones who are happy to make an advertisement holding a shotgun or an AR-15 and say, vote for me or the Democrat's going to win and they're going to confiscate your firearms. Also donate money. Those individuals, when they had the political power to pass national reciprocity, to deregulate suppressors, to chip away at the NFA, which is being weaponized right now to go after the general population at large, who are otherwise peaceably minding their own business. The reason stuff like a forced reset trigger exists at all is because of something like the National Firearms Act. If they would work to repeal that piece of legislation, a gross infringement upon the Constitution, we wouldn't be in a situation where people are now going to deal with armed federal agents and task force officers at their front door, demanding they turn in their firearms. Is that something that your Congress critter is fine with? Will they keep their A+ rating from the NRA as they've done nothing politically to stop this? You can't tell me for a moment that they weren't aware of this. If GOA is aware of this, that means many members of Congress know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. The DOJ and the ATF have become more reckless and lawless with time. They have outlived their purpose. We have seen ATF at this point is now digitizing 4473s. So if you've purchased a firearm in the last 5 or 10 years and your dealer has gone out of business, guess what? They're taking that 4473 and they're digitizing it. And the ATF is actually working right now to force all FFLs to keep everything digitized going forward. It'll make it that much easier for them to have a database with your name on it, knowing that you own at least a few firearms. This is the organization that will be showing up at your door to confiscate your firearms as they continue to redefine what certain accessories are. If you think that they will stop at the forced reset trigger, if you think that the bump stock ban was fine, if you think that them going after pistol braces won't affect you, on a long enough timetable, something that you own will be reclassified under their ability to redefine what certain things are. Eventually, just like Dianne Feinstein once, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in. Except it probably won't be that nice. And you're not going to be compensated for it either. They're just going to tell you, turn it in. Or you're getting a threatening letter in the mail, or they're just going to show up to your house. And they won't have to show up to everybody's house. Just enough examples will need to be made, and a lot of people out of fear will comply. That's exactly what will happen on a long enough timetable. And again, why is this happening? Because our members of Congress failed to go after an organization that has actively armed the Mexican drug cartels that have then used weapons to terrorize the Mexican population and kill federal law enforcement officials on U.S. soil with some of those weapons. Not to mention their connections to some other very high-profile events in American history. And not a single one of these individuals has ever been brought to justice. So if you think for a moment that they won't operate with complete immunity with whatever actions they have to take going forward to confiscate these forced reset triggers and other accessories, oh boy. So contact your congressperson. Ask them, really, where do they sit? How do they feel about this? What actions do they support that ATF is taking? Do they support this at all? Will they lodge an inquiry into the type of activities that ATF has been conducting over the past several decades? The reckless spending, their constant loss of funds and operations, their constant loss of firearms on operations. There is virtually zero oversight of this organization. No one ever seems to raise the alarm bell except for small local newspapers when they come into a community and then terrorize the neighborhood and lose firearms in the process. It's time for us to make a big stink about this, because to allow this to continue in the direction that it's going is a very dangerous game. No one should be hurt. No one should be harmed. No one should be attacked for owning something that is clearly protected under the Second Amendment. And the fact that we are now at a point where elected officials continue to ignore us, where they feel like they are so far removed from us that they are no longer in a position where they're being held accountable by us, is deeply alarming. And we need to take them to task for it. Let them know respectfully, hey, if you don't support the Second Amendment, we will primary you. We don't have time for the neocons in this party anymore. This is only the party of MAGA. This is only the party of America. Find me on Alt Tech. Thanks for watching. Contact your Congress critter and let them know that you will not stand for this wave of confiscation.